Hi everyone, Annette Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today I want to teach you and show you how to layer watercolors. So I've already done the first layer of watercolors, and basically the main principle of layering watercolors is that each layer has to be completely dry before you add the second layer. Otherwise the colors will blend and then you won't have any layering, just one big mix of colors. So I started with yellow, and now I'm mixing slightly a little bit of orange with the yellow to create a darker color. Now watercolors are always a little bit transparent, so each of the layers is going to be visible under the previous layers. So you start with the brighter color and then gradually add darker colors, or you can also layer the same color and just changing its brightness or boldness with the amount of water that you add, because the more water you add, the more transparent the watercolor will be. So if you want to just work with one color, you need to start with a more diluted watercolor and then add stronger and stronger colors just by diluting it less, meaning you use less water. So as you can see, I keep on adding orange, darker and darker orange, to my yellow, and I'm adding layers of the paint on my flowers, and you can see the layering that is starting to emerge. Each layer is visible and each layer is slightly smaller because I also want to create shadowing. So if you want to create shadowing with watercolors, you need to layer them. So each darker layer is a bit smaller than the previous layer, and it becomes darker as we go down. That will be the center of the flower. Now I've changed brushes to a finer tip, and I've added red to my oranges and yellows, and now I'm working on the very bottom of the tree, of the flower, sorry. And now I'm layering another layer of darker colors on the bottom of the flower. This way my flower will have a more realistic realistic look as I add more and more layers. And you see that the layers don't mix with one another, but the layers are visible, each and every one of them. And that is the secret of layering watercolors. So after finishing the flowers, I can add a little bit more details. I want a little more of that darker color stemming from the bottom. Like this. And then you can keep on layering your colors on the paper, adding hues of oranges and whites and yellows as much as you want, just to give the flower that realistic look. The flower never is in the same color. It has different colors and hues all over the petals, and this is the effect that we're trying to achieve. And we're doing that by layering different hues of oranges and yellows on the paper. Now I want to make the stem, so I'm starting again with a light green, because when we layer watercolors we always start with a lighter color or the more diluted color, and then we go ahead and add the stronger or the darker colors. So speed things up a little bit. And also another important thing to remember is that watercolors always dry lighter than what you see. So if you see a certain hue or you think it's dark, always remember then when it's dry it will be slightly lighter than what you see when it's wet. So now I'm adding a darker green, and I'm not adding the same amount of paint all over the surface, just little dots. Because usually flowers, the colors on the flower are never uniform, so you can see different shades of green, so that's why I'm not covering the entire surface there. There is slightly an areas of slightly brighter green that you can see through. Now for the stems, the next layer is even darker green, and this way I'm going to just keep on layering the colors until I'm happy with the way it looks. So the same goes with the background. You start with the very light color, and I'm using circular motion to apply it on my page, and then you start adding the darker and darker colors, in this case greens. Each layer that I'm adding is going to be darker than the previous layer, but you can still see the layers underneath because again, watercolors are always a little bit transparent. So it really gives you that realistic look. Now for the sky, so I'm adding a little bit of blue to the green. And I've diluted the watercolor with more water because I want it to be very light in this area here. And again, the more colors you add, the lighter your color will be. You see, it's just a hint of blue. You don't have a lot of pigment here. And I'm playing with different shades of blue and teal to create the sky. I'm not going to do a lot of layering in the sky because I want them to be very light, not too dark. So I'm just adding a little bit more. Almost give you an effect of clouds. Now I want to add a hint of a sun, so I'm just adding a little bit of yellow on the corner here. Again, layering it with the blues and a little bit of orange. So it's not the sun, it will look like the light of the sun. Just adding a little bit more blue around that light. It's like the light of the sun is beaming through the clouds and through the sky. So I really hope that you'll give this a try. It takes a little bit of practice, but don't be afraid to try it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, so you won't miss anything and you'll be able to follow all the tutorials and make all the projects and try all the techniques. Just going to add a little bit more layering to my flowers, just to emphasize the petals a little bit more. And then I think that my drawing will be finished. So I want to thank everyone for joining me, and I will see you next time.